Oh, hey, y'all. I'm excited to already see some of y'all on. All right, I'm going to get our presentation pulled up, and we're not going to get started for like another 5 to 7 minutes to give everyone else time to join us. But I'm excited to have y'all here today. Um, as you're trickling in and as I'm getting the presentation up on the screen, if y'all could just tell me, did y'all have kids go back to school this week? How was that working for you? If you didn't have kids, what are you looking to get out of the presentation today? I want to make sure I tailor this towards everyone. So if you could just like click at the bottom, you should see it. You should be able to see where you could put a chat in. Or you could come off of mute because we haven't started yet. So whatever feels best to you. Let's see. And I'm going. Okay. Okay. Where's my mouse? Here we go. All right, we have a few more people trickling in. Okay, and I'm going to share my screen. Okay, let's see. Oh, your 2-year-old is back in school. Nice. I know that really helps with freedom. Are they in like a daycare or a parents' day out program? Youngest kid starts at LSU next week. Oh my goodness, college, that's such a big milestone. My oldest is starting K4 this year. So we're going into the big school system and she's really excited for big girl school. And so I'm officially like in the back to school season because he's in preschool. Sweet. Sweet little man or girl. You didn't say if it was a boy or girl. Oh, you said he. Duh. Sorry, Kristen. Um, let's see, school and extracurriculars start next week, looking for easy ways to stay healthy with most weeknights occupied and working full time. Totally get that. I'll be honest, like my kids have been in daycare. So years before when people talked about back to school, I just kind of like I knew it happened when like traffic got bad and all the buses. But I really didn't have like that back to school. And now, we left the meet and greet and I felt like I had more homework than she did. On top of that, me and my husband decided to coach her soccer team, and my oldest is also doing dance. And so we have two little girls, but my oldest she's the one doing all the things right now. So like 3 nights of the week are already taken up for us. So I completely get looking for ways to stay healthy. So we'll certainly cover that. As y'all are trickling in, anyone else that had kiddos start school this week or going to start school, and or tell me what you want to get out of the presentation today. Oh, hey, Megan. Happy to see you on, my friend. I'm also going to go ahead and share my screen to make sure y'all can see it. Wait, was I already sharing? Okay. Just let me know. Y'all should be able to see my screen. And I have to find the chat. Here's the chat. Okay. Thumbs up. Y'all can see my little presentation screen. All right. Well, I'm going to give everyone about 1 more minute and then we're going to get started. And I promised y'all, so all of y'all will receive a free metabolic assessment. Someone will win a full in-depth nutrition coaching one-on-one session with me, and I will announce that at the end of the chat. So just make sure that I'm going to ask a few questions throughout the presentation. So just make sure you engage with me, and that will increase your chances of potentially winning the free nutrition consultation with me. Okay, so let me make sure I'm about to turn on the recording. A few people couldn't make it and they asked me to record it, and then we will get going. Oh, wait, I think I am recording. Let's see. Okay, yep, we're already recording. Okay, so we're going to get started. This is our simple fat loss and busy seasons lunch and learn. So if you have lunch, grab it. No shame, no guilt. Eat while you're on the call with me. Do what you need to do during this time. But I hope that you're able to stay present, take notes, because I promise you, I'm going to pack this time full of information because I am just so grateful that you have decided to take your lunch hour to spend that with me. Because I know it's been a crazy week. Whether or not you have kids back in school, you probably feel the chaos. So, one, say thank you to yourselves and thank you to me for just taking this time out of your day to spend it with me. And so that's one of my promises to you is I'm going to make sure that you leave with value. Okay, so let's dive in. So I talked about a few things, but a few promises I want to make to y'all. I'm just going to reiterate. So one, someone will receive a free nutrition consultation at the end. It's a $150 value. But I really want to dive into, we're going to cover a few things, but why nothing has sticks, especially in a busy season, what actually does, and how to stop feeling exhausted and start feeling like yourself again, especially when we have school, we have kids games, all the things going on in the evenings. Two, I'm going to make sure this is valuable to you. And so we've coached over 500 women. We've seen what works, we've seen what doesn't, and I really want to make sure that today you walk away with at least one thing that you can implement into your life. So that's one of my promises to you. I'm going to ask questions. So anytime you have a question, put it in the chat. So that's another promise I'm making. I will not end until everyone's question is answered. So make sure you put that in the chat. Also, this is a safe space. So I am not here to judge. I am not here to make you feel bad or anything. So don't feel afraid to speak up. So this is a safe space. And I'm here, like I said, to provide you support, to provide you value. And then, as I mentioned, like promises to me, your promises to me, I want you to pay attention, take something and implement it because I put this together for y'all because I want it to change something in your life. So make that promise to me that you will implement something today. If you're not clear on what needs to be implemented, then reach out to me and I will help you. Also, if you can participate in the chat, because I am going to answer a few questions, ask y'all a few questions. And so just having that engagement really allows me to see who I'm talking to, what y'all want to hear and see about, and to make this just a fun experience. So real quickly, I'm just going to tell y'all a little bit about myself. I always hate this part, but all my coaches have told me I need to do this because not everyone knows who I am. But my name is Kylee Arnold. I'm the owner and founder of Arnold Nutrition Coaching. I need to update these photos because right now you see me pregnant in the top left corner, but I now have a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old, like I said, who starts pre-K for tomorrow at Big Girl School. I love all things about South Louisiana. I love king cake. I love tailgates. I love being a mom. I love lifting heavy weights. I have 5 sisters, so I have a really big family. But I spent a lot of my years trying to figure out what was wrong with me. I've struggled with PCOS, insulin resistance. I've struggled with high blood pressure at a young age. And no matter what I did, I felt like if anyone else did what I was doing, they would see better results. And so I got really, really frustrated. And so I hired my own coaches. And that really opened my eyes to the world of nutrition coaching. But the thing was, they didn't understand tailgates. They didn't understand Mardi Gras. They were like, what's king cake? I'm like, oh no, I can't have someone that doesn't understand what happens at a crawfish boil. So that's when I'm now double certified. I'm in the process of getting my national board coach certification as well. And I just really wanted to bring these coaching principles, applications, and accountability to help busy women in the South reach your goals, feel super confident, and know that you can do it without missing out on king cake too. Since then, we have grown to a team of 5. So it's now myself. We have 2 dietitians, a nurse practitioner who acts as a coach, and then also a macro and strength coach as well. And so we've been really blessed to coach over 500 women. And I hope that today we can have an impact on you too. Okay, so before we dive into the solution, we first have to identify some of the problems that I've seen in the past. And again, this is a safe space. I'm not pasting or putting blame on anyone. I know we've tried a lot of things. I've tried a bunch of things. So I love to experiment on myself, especially for my clients. And so what we're going to go over first is one, the different diets you tried, why some of them have worked, why some of them haven't, the prescription problem when it comes to diets. And then we're going to go through 3 steps to identifying your game plan. And then we're going to end with the backup plan revolution. And so this is something that I've worked on with my clients that has been super, super successful in helping them really maintain and sustain their progress. So if you're like me, you probably have tried or are currently doing some of these things. Keto, Whole30, Weight Watchers, GLP-1s, intermittent fasting. If you've done one or some of these, put it in the chat. I want to hear from you which ones you've done, if you've had success, how long you've done them for, or you can just simply put which ones you've tried in the chat. Again, I have literally done all of these, so no shame here. I just want to help educate y'all on which approach is typically better for different types of things. Okay, Maria's done paleo. I've done paleo too. I loved it. I felt really great. But with that one, I didn't lose weight because I was not keeping my calories in check. Like for me, I was like, oh, all these foods are fair game. So I just did not control my portions. Low carb, I've done that one too. I've also done keto. That one can really play a big role too in a specific timeline. Paleo and Whole30, GLP-1s, keto, counting macros. Same thing, macros. Like I've done macros. I still do macros. I've seen macros done really well. I've seen them done not so well because some people really like to fill macros with not great food. Like you've had this culture that's like, okay, if it fits your macros, you can put it in there, but then sometimes you feel really bad because you're not eating high quality food. So I try to do like the macro approach with higher quality food as well. Macros, and you kind of still do, but burn out on it quickly. Totally get that, especially like if you're out and about, if you're at a restaurant, you don't know how to calculate something. You did keto about 2 years and lost 30 pounds, but then over 6 months, you gained half of the weight back. Okay, and I'll talk about, Megan, why that likely happened. Okay, so we've all of us here, like I said, this is a safe space, have done at least one of these approaches. Most of us have done multiple. Um, the research, so studies show that 90% of diets fail within 2 years. But again, it is not your fault. So I want to make this very, very clear because I hear this a lot from women. I hear I wasn't self-disciplined enough to sustain it. I wasn't motivated, or I lacked account, or all of these things. It was not you. It was because the diet that you didn't give you instructions, or maybe the person or whoever, however you got that into that diet, there wasn't instructions in how to phase out of it. And so because of that, you did it until it stopped working. And when it stops working, I'm not going to say it's too late, but that's kind of when you start to see all of the negative effects of having a restrictive diet come up. So here, the missing piece is diet variation and timelines. This is essential. These approaches work until they don't, but we want to get ahead of it. We want to make sure that we change our approach before the approach we're currently doing stops working. And that might sound a little bit crazy because you might be thinking, if it's working, why would I change it? So here's why. So I like to tell clients, like, and I don't mean like you always have to be dieting, but your specific approach should kind of be like a prescription. Like, here's what we're doing for this amount of time, and here's what we're doing to come out of it. So every diet should have a specific purpose and a timeline attached to it. So cutting food groups long term, that's not sustainable. Long-term fasting in busy seasons is a recipe for disaster. You need to know what problem you're solving too. So fat loss versus metabolic flexibility, inflammation versus insulin sensitivity, gut health versus autophagy. Some of these words you may have not heard of before. If you're familiar with them or if you have questions about them, let me know. And that's not to say that we can't work on multiple things at the same time, but sometimes sorry, I like to read the questions as we go too. You lost 18 pounds, but eventually gained 10 back. That was at the end of 2022. And so one that's still like that's a huge accomplishment. You lost the 18 pounds, some of it came back, but let's talk about why that happens for a minute. And so sometimes, like I said, you need to know your purpose. So most clients come to me because they're like, Kylee, I want to feel confident in myself and my food choices. And to get there, they usually want fat loss. So fat loss is typically one of the things that they want. Also, muscle tone. So they want to look toned. So toned comes from having lean muscle mass, meaning I have an adequate amount of muscle mass without a certain percentage of fat mass on top of that covering that up. Make sense? Let me know if that's kind of some of y'all's goals. If your goal is either weight loss, fat loss, or getting toned, put that in the chat. Let me know what some of y'all's goals are. Some of our clients do come to us. They're like, I either just really need help and work on my gut health. Maybe they need more energy, insulin sensitivity. You want it all. And that's okay too. I love it. They want to work on their blood sugar balance, whatever it is. But most of the time weight loss is kind of in there with it. So weight loss, fat loss. So the thing is, for example, someone might come to us and say, okay, I want to lose weight. I want fat loss. But we look at their diet and what they're currently eating, and let's say they're not sleeping well, they're not pooping every day. Yes, we're going to talk about poop on this call because that's very important. They're under a lot of stress. They have been under eating for a very long time. And when I say under eating, like sometimes under 1,600 calories a day can be under eating. Their hormones are out of whack, their body temperature is out of whack. If all of these things are going on, then no, our first goal isn't fat loss. Our first goal is to set you up for fat loss, to open those fat burning pathways so that you can achieve your goal. So we might need to work first on getting your sleep patterns where they need to be, making sure that we're not under a lot of stress, whatever that looks like, making sure too that we're just eating consistent, whole, balanced meals so your body isn't like, what the heck is going on? Before we even enter into one of these other approaches. And sometimes one of these approaches may be our first, but typically we're doing, how do you know if your gut health is bad? I want to lose weight and feel better. 58, 58 years old here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to write this question down in my book. Like I said, I'm going to answer every question to make sure that I cover that at the end. How do you know if gut health is bad? Okay, so I will talk about gut health at the end too. I see Jenny's on here with Sync Wellness too, so she can always chime in with me. Um, let's see, maintain weight loss, ensuring you're properly nourishing your body every day. Fat loss, body percentage. So I guess when you say body percentage, you mean like your fat mass, like your body fat percentage is what you're looking. Gain muscle and lose body fat. Okay, so we have a lot of y'all are here for weight loss, down 40 pounds, but you've been stuck for months. So one, congrats on being down 40 pounds. And this will also dive into why you get stuck too here in a second. Okay, so a lot of people, you want your body fat percentage to be down. Some of us want it all. Totally get it. Maintain weight loss success. And yes, I've had a few calls recently with even potential clients where really longevity has been key for them. They're like, look, I'm in my 50s and I'm like, their kids are getting older. I'm an empty nester, but they know grandkids are coming next. So they're like, I just want to be strong. I want to live a long, healthy life for my kids and my grandkids. And so that longevity piece starts to come into play too. Um, okay, let me back up for a second real quick. Okay, so when we're talking about the prescription problem and timeline, so for example, so with keto and low carb, and just a disclaimer, I am not a doctor. This is just information, and this may not be the case in every scenario. So for the most part, something like keto slash low carb, 3 to 6 months max is what you're looking for fat loss. And then we need to go into a metabolic rebuilding phase, flexibility phase, introducing carbs again. Here's why. So after that timeline, if we're too low carb for too long, it can start to impact our thyroid. Our thyroid really needs carbs, or things will start to get a little bit more sluggish. So here's what I see a lot of. People have been like, keto was working, low carb was working. They felt great for a really long time until they didn't. And so then their thyroid got a little bit sluggish, and then they started introducing carbs, and their body couldn't process carbs in the same way, or they introduced carbs way too quickly. Like, there are other things we can do. We can do some keto carb cycling to bring them back in. We can just slowly increase them. Sometimes we might take a break and just go through cycles where you maybe do keto like one week out of the month, so you still kind of get some of those benefits. But eventually you have to come out of it, or something is going to be affected by it. We typically still need all of our macros in our diet. At some point, your body's going to start screaming at you. Same thing with intermittent fasting. There are also ways, like, even if there's even a 5-2 approach that you can do with intermittent fasting, to where it's not every single day. Typically, that's something we might want to do for 6 to 8 weeks. Sometimes people might do it longer. Again, you can also cycle, like you have cycles through fasting that you can do throughout the week, where you have some longer and shorter fasting windows so that your body isn't always under stress. Because certain times, like, even there are good forms of stress, we just want to make sure our body's responding to them really well. Same elimination diet. So Whole30 sometimes can fall under that category, sometimes paleo. But really, once we do it for a few weeks, we want to reintroduce some of those foods in a healthy way. Because I've seen people go in with the mindset of, okay, eliminating these things, and depending on the reasons are, you reintroduce them to see anything you have triggers to. But if it's something like Whole30 that's really restricted for 30 days, then you're like, oh my gosh, where's the chocolate, where's the Coke? And then it's like 2 months later, you're like, oh my God, I feel like crap again. I really loved how I felt on Whole30, but that just wasn't sustainable for me. Does any of this sound familiar? Like, is this clicking with y'all? Have y'all felt or experienced this before? I'm gonna keep going, but tell me if any of this is new to you, or if you felt or experienced this, or if it's making sense. So calorie deficits. Okay, yes, absolutely. Calorie deficits, typically 8 to 12 weeks, then we want to maintenance and reverse. Here's why. So a lot of you have said you've lost weight and some of it came back. And so typically when we lose weight, we're in a calorie deficit, meaning we're consuming fewer calories. I mean, yes, we're consuming fewer calories than we're burning. But eventually, your body adapts to that because our bodies are made for survival. They're actually not built for fat loss. So, okay, let's see. Low carb makes me feel terrible. Yeah, so a lot of people, I'm gonna go on the tangent for Amy's comment right there. But some people will tell me they feel better on low carb. Typically, I'll almost bet they're more moderate carb when they say low carb, because carb is your body's preferred source of energy. We just want to make sure we're doing it balanced and right to where we're not having these blood sugar spikes and crashes. But typically, having like carbohydrates is great for an energy source. Now, when you're in ketosis, your body is using fat for an energy source. Most people, we want to see you be able to go in between. I will be honest with y'all, I'm still working on metabolic flexibility. My body hates keto. It does not like going into ketosis. It really loves to stay in carb burning mode, but that's something that I'm working on. But we should be able to shift to one or the other. That being said, our body does typically prefer, like going too low carb for too long can start to impact some other things in our body. So calorie deficits. And so this is what everyone talks about, like they're losing weight, they're on a diet, they're typically in a calorie deficit. But when that stops working, same thing, when keto stops working, when fasting stops working, when Whole30 stops working, we just go back to our old ways. We don't know how to adapt or come out of it and create an actually balanced plan and lifestyle around what works for us. And so when someone's in a calorie deficit, we slowly increase calories to increase their BMR. Because when you're eating in a calorie deficit, your BMR is going to decrease. That's your basal metabolic rate. So that's the amount of calories your body is burning at rest. So if someone's eating 8 to 1,200 calories a day, you can't cut from that and expect to lose weight. This is why you'll hear people on Instagram or wherever say, like, or TikTok say, hey, I'm eating more and losing weight. I've even said that and done that. But here's what's actually happening. When they start to come out of that calorie deficit in the proper way, everything starts turning on again. Your body's producing more heat, your BMR increases, you're sleeping better, you're probably pooping better, all the things. So you're actually burning more calories and you have more energy to increase your daily energy expenditure too. Okay. So studies show that hormonal adaptations can occur after 12 to 16 weeks of restriction. This is why we must cycle approaches. So y'all may have heard that in the exercise world. Like we have, so you cycle your different exercise routines so that your body continuously responds. So it's kind of like that too. Sometimes happen, and I'm not saying like yo-yo or ping pong diet, but if you have a strategy that matches that, then that can help you stay on the right goal. Okay. So we really want to make sure that that we have the right strategy and goal and timeline. And for me and my clients, like the goal is really always the minimum effective dose, not maximum restriction for maximum misery. Like some of these approaches you may never need, and be lucky, be glad, these each are a tool, but we need to work on what is the minimal effective dose to get you to your goals. And we need to identify what that starting goal is to begin with. And then you throw in, sorry, oh wait, it's got me off. Here we go. Then you throw in the information overload trap. And so I'm not saying all the information out there on Instagram and TikTok, like I'm on it too, y'all, is bad or wrong. It's just, it's typically meant for a certain segment of the population, and we don't even know who that is sometimes. So for example, you may have someone talking to pre or post menopausal strength trainers, and you might have someone talking to the obese population. They're advice and information might be very different. So you're seeing these things thinking, oh, maybe I should do that. So we start piecemealing mailing things together, like, or you're just so confused you don't do anything. You're like, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing because I have no idea what to do next. Is that you? Because that's been me before. I'm like, I like sometimes I even get overwhelmed. I'm like, y'all are throwing way too much out there right now. But this is what's keeping you stuck is you don't have a backup plan. So that just reverts you back to your old ways. And you assume it has to be extreme or all or nothing, or we're either all over the place, piecemealing things together, or we're so stuck because we're so overwhelmed. So that's why I created, or like, I don't know if I created it, but I didn't read it anywhere, but the backup plan revolution. Okay. So currently you're confused right now. Very, very common, y'all. I see this all the time. This is why even sometimes I have a coach because I'm like, look, I want to work on all these things. What do I need to work on first? But here's what the backup plan revolution looks at. So tell me if this sounds like you. One, you find a new approach. You stick to it for a few weeks. Some of y'all have done it longer. Some of y'all have mentioned months to years, so whatever timeline that is. You start seeing some results, but life happens. Back-to-back trips, busy work seasons, no backup plan. So you go back to old habits again until motivation hits, until the trigger hits, whether it's a photo of you that you didn't like, whether it's how you felt in a certain situation, whether something inspired you. So you're just kind of waiting for that motivation to hit again. But I like to tell my clients, if you think of your journey like a bowling lane, so visualize a bowling lane right now, and you have your bumpers up, okay? You need to make sure you have some leeway in between lanes, but your backup plan are your bumpers to make sure you don't go completely into the gutter, right? Gutter is bad because we're not knocking anything down. We don't necessarily need to strike out every time, but we want to stay in our lane. And so this is what the backup plan helps you do when we put up those bumpers. So what are your bumpers for working late, for sick kids when school or daycare calls, for coming back from vacation? So tell me what usually happens, y'all, in the comments when this happens. Sports game and homework marathons. You're doing things later than you plan. Unexpected social events. I know some of y'all have like business development types of jobs, and maybe you have to do things for work, or maybe it's a last minute girls' night out, travel days, hormone fluctuations, because throughout the month you might feel differently. Tell me in the comments what typically happens if you're working late or if your kids have late games. I'm gonna wait for some of y'all to respond to me. And I'll give y'all an example while y'all are thinking about it. Or you can tell me yes or no. Do you have a plan for when these things happen? So you're hitting the drive-through and grabbing whatever's convenient. Yep, me too. Grab unhealthy decisions for dinner. I've done it. Fast food, quick chicken nugget meals. Absolutely. Now, here's the thing. What if I can help you retrain your brain to see the lens of opportunity to where you can still pull through a fast food place and grab something healthier, to where maybe we train your body to pack no one's ever, now a lot of people don't do this, but to pack a dinner to bring to the baseball field. Just in case. Worst case scenario, you don't need it. It's lunch the next day. But here's a real scenario. Your bumpers are traveling and social events. Your answer is Chick-fil-A drive-thru. I love Chick-fil-A drive-thru can be an answer, and I'll teach you how. But for example, like it's 7 p.m., you work late, kids are hungry, nothing's prepped, or you're at a kids tournament because concession stand is open. That's the only thing open. The family gets sick, you're exhausted. You need nutritional support for your immunity, especially when you're traveling. PMS hits, you're craving everything. Friends invite you somewhere last minute. Like all these things come up. But studies show that if we at least have a plan, we're 2 to 3 more times likely to follow through. Oh, PMS for sure. We can talk about that too. But if you don't know what to grab and go, then you'll default to old plans because that's what's been taught for us is easy. McDonald's is easy. Pizza is easy. Not shaming y'all for that because I've done it too. But how can we make easy be healthy? That's what I want to walk y'all through today. Because most plans teach you what to do in the perfect scenario, in the perfect life. But how often does that actually happen? Not often, right? I think these bumpers are more common than a lot of people realize. Okay. So let's talk about the 3-step system to get there. So one, like I talked to y'all about, let's determine your main goal. And if you need help doing that, let me do that. There's a few things we can do to help figure that out for you. Even if your main goal is fat loss, where do we need to start? And when I talk about where do we need to start, it's not just our approach, but what are the one or two actions we're going to start with? All of us as coaches on my team, not only do we have the nutrition education, but we also have the behavior change background. This is important because we found that if you do more than these two behaviors at a time, then it's too much of a shift from your current state to this next state that you almost can't identify with it. So then you go back to your old habits versus if it's one or two habits where you're like, okay, like this is a little bit different than what I'm used to, but I can handle it. So you start to identify with this. This becomes your new normal. This becomes your new habit. Then we can stack on one to two more. Does that make sense? And have y'all ever experienced that? Like, oh, and most of y'all don't even realize it, but I've seen it. Like, hey, I'm living this lifestyle. I want to live this new healthy lifestyle, but you start doing 4 to 5 different things. It's almost like I can't sustain this. I don't know who this new person is. So when stuff happens, sorry, I'm correcting myself from saying shit. But so when stuff happens, you just go back to your old ways because that's what feels comfortable. Versus if we change one to two things that you're like, okay, this is a little bit different, but I can do it. Then you start to identify with this, and then we keep moving you along. So when we do that, so when we identify your main goal, when we identify the behavior, and when we have that assessment, one that gets you clear, like here's what I'm actually working on right now. Like, yes, I want fat loss, but right now I'm working on making sure I'm metabolically healthy. I have good energy. I have regular cycles, whatever is in with that to make sure that I'm not in the same place 5 years from now. Because if you don't address your metabolic health, then you're going to continue to stay stuck. If your body is screaming at you, you're going to continue to stay stuck. So we've got to address those things first, whether it's metabolic health, insulin sensitivity, thyroid, inflammation, hormone optimization to make sure sleep, stress, cycle regulation, performance, gut health, all of these things. So we need to figure out, I know most of y'all's goal is fat loss, but what do we need to work on first to get there? Is your body ready for fat loss or not? And what are the 1 to 2 behaviors we're going to start with? Okay. So that's step number 1. Oh, and it moved me all the way over to step number 3. Step number 3 is choose your specific nutrition plan and lifestyle approach. So the nutrition plan could be, maybe it's mapping out with us or a coach or someone. Maybe sometimes it's keto. Maybe it's doing our foundations first metabolic priming phase. Maybe it's just balanced meal, whatever that is. We need to choose your nutrition plan and lifestyle approach. Okay. And that also means looking at not just what you eat, but it's also your environment. Because if we're trying to create change here, it's not just the food. It's also the people in your life. Are they supportive or sabotaging? The food you have access to, budget, time, family preferences, and geographically. So I kind of help my clients build a geographic map for all of their main locations. So work, home, kids, school, practices. What's in like a 5-minute radius of each of those areas, and what are our options? That's going to help us create defaults. What is your work schedule and stress levels? We have a lot of clients that travel like plane or on the road all day. And then your exercise capacity and recovery needs too. So we need to see, what do you actually have time for so that we can implement it. Okay, so so you know your goal, but we're choosing your approach and your behaviors. We're understanding your specific plan and your lifestyle approaches, and we're priming your environment for that as well. And then number 3 is to create your backup plan first. And here's what I mean. And we're actually about to do a challenge to where, like, the first week, I don't want anyone really cooking, because everyone comes to me, they're like, Kylee, I want a recipe for this. I want a recipe for that. No, y'all don't. Y'all do not need another recipe, because you don't want to spend 30 minutes in the kitchen. You don't have time for that. What you need to know is how to build your backup plan first. Because if I can teach you the skills and what to do when you get home at 8:30 and y'all still haven't eaten and you have 15 minutes to put something on the table so kids can bathe and get to bed, here's what your options are. If your only options are Taco Bell and McDonald's, what's something you can still eat? Or maybe you have a little bit of time. You do like recipes. Okay, y'all get recipes too. I will say that. You get recipes too. But you can't just rely on recipes, because what happens when a recipe isn't there? Or what happens when you don't want to spend your entire Sunday meal prepping and cooking? That's when we just go back to when we just go back to our old habits. And so, for example, this might look like me seeing an opportunity of, okay, I actually have 30, 45 minutes before between when we get home and we have to leave for practice or a game. I don't know how late we're going to be there. I'm going to throw a wrap together real quick. I have turkey, a wrap, and a salad kit on hand. I'm going to make wraps for everybody in case we need to eat dinner at the park or on the way home in the car. That way I don't have to pick up fast food. Or maybe it's I was cooking dinner, but it's not ready yet. My kids are starving. So I'm pulling out frozen turkey meatballs, heating those up, heating up some frozen broccoli, and pairing it with the side of fruit. Bam, add ranch for your fat. You got your protein, your vegetable, your carb, your fat. It's all there. What are the components of my meal that I need? Or maybe it's, dang, I forgot to pack something. We're going to Raising Cane's. That's the only thing in the area. What do I need to order here? Or we're going on vacation, we're coming back late Sunday night, school starts the next day. What do I need to do either before we leave, or what can I do as soon as I get home? Maybe it's a grocery delivery that's there waiting on you to unpack. You have some Kevin's chicken meals ready to go. Or especially if you are doing something a little bit more restrictive like keto, what do you need to have on hand that you can grab and go with you when you are running out of the door? And so if we learn to keep 2 to 3 staples of protein, carbohydrates, fats, and vegetables on hand that are easily accessible to you, then you can grab it and go and make things work for you. And sometimes it is also, like I said, learning how to pack your lunch before you go, because some people will say, I don't have 5 minutes. Y'all, I love me some Chick-fil-A. It's delicious. They are not fast though. It's going to be a while. It is. And so if you can spend 10 to 15 minutes waiting in a drive-through, I have timed myself. I can make a lunch and be out the door in 5 minutes because I know what I have. I can grab it. And I always look at my calendar the next day to see, is anything changing? Was there anything that I forgot? So when we start to build up these backup plans too, or even making the preparation simple. So when we do, like, if we do a Sunday meal prep, I'm cooking a bunch of proteins. Well, actually, I'm lying. My husband grills a bunch of proteins outside. While I'm inside, I do a batch, like cookie sheet or whatever sheet pan of vegetables inside. And so I know I have my vegetables. I know I have my proteins ready to go at any point. I can mix and match. I use like sauces, like a honey mustard sauce or an Italian dressing or something to mix and match. Is this starting to make sense to y'all? Have y'all ever thought about your backup plan? Or is this something that still maybe feels unattainable or you're not sure of? Tell me if you're learning anything yet while I catch my breath. Hmm. Okay, Maria, what's something you've learned? What's something you haven't thought of? Same thing with you, Kristen. Yes, you don't want to spend a lot of time cooking. And so in our challenge, we're leaning on like crock pot meals, we're leaning on sheet pan meals, and we're leaning on things that are already kind of pre-cooked. You've learned food swap, blackout plans, lifesaver. Yes, being prepared is key, but even if we're not prepared, so I try to teach my clients, we can plan and we can prepare. If we could do both, that would be fabulous. But sometimes we can't. So even if you're not prepared, you can plan. So even if like I went on a girls trip the other weekend, typically I love to bring like some lunch and snacks with me. I didn't. So I was like, okay, on the way there, I know we'll pass a Chick-fil-A or a Panera Bread. That's what I'm going to get. When we're doing our grocery order, I'm going to make sure there's a rotisserie chicken or something for me to eat once we get there. Um, how things to throw together and still be healthy. Yes, exactly, Kristen. It is possible to have things to throw together and still be healthy. They can absolutely coexist. Because I think some people think I have to eat healthy and plan and cook everything, or I have to be really fast. Okay, how do you plan with a picky eater with your kiddo? Is I'll go on a tangent and answer that real quick as if everyone is okay with that. For me, my kids do sometimes eat different things. One eats green beans, one doesn't, one likes dip, one doesn't. And so I try to have different components of my meal. So you've never truly ever thought about the backup plan. It's more or less you figure it out as you go. And figuring it out as you go can work if you're prepared. You can be prepared and make things work even if you didn't plan, and you can plan even if you didn't prepare. Typically, we want them to go together, but knowing how to make things work. You don't have self-control. You do have self-control. You cook right. You always have 2 to 3 bites and then get to. Girl, do not get disappointed over 2 to 3 bites of mac and cheese. If you like mac and cheese, put mac and cheese on your plate. That's what I'm going to tell you right now. But make sure, but treat mac and cheese and pizza, y'all. Y'all are going to hate me for this, but you need to hear it. Treat pizza like a side dish, not a main dish. It's just like mac and cheese. It's very carb and fat heavy. Yes, it has some protein, not a lot. Pair it with a protein and a vegetable, and you're good to go. So, for example, if my kids, if I have a picky eater, one maybe likes fish, the other one doesn't. So we cook fish that night, but I keep turkey meatballs or turkey sausage on hand. I know my other one loves sausage. So maybe I heat that up and she gets sausage tonight. Cool, whatever. It's not what the family's eating, but I know she'll still eat it. I might still put a piece of fish on her plate so that she doesn't think, oh, if I tell mommy I don't like it, then I never have to try it again. My kids, I still consistently everyone still gets everything on their plate, but they also have a no thank you napkin on the side of their plate where they put something they don't want. I like that because it dissipates the fight of I don't want this and them throwing it, but it also still stays in their vision and they know it's still served. I know my 4-year-old will not eat green beans, zucchini, or tomatoes. It still goes on her plate because maybe one day she changes her mind. But I still know that she has 2 to 3 things on her plate that she does like and she will eat. And again, we keep a lot of fruit on hand. Fruit is almost always their carbs. We keep fats on hand. It's really like, and I keep frozen vegetables on hand. So I pop them in the microwave if I don't have anything roasted. And when it comes to proteins, some nights, yes, we do Applegate chicken nuggets if I really need to. But I also like frozen broccoli bites for my kids. I'll eat them too. So yes, there are some things that my kids like that I don't like. So I don't expect my kids to eat everything that we eat, but I do still reintroduce it to them. I can dive into that a little bit more, but I want to keep going for now. Just bring up that question if there's anything else specific when it comes to picky eaters. We've had a lot of moms that we've worked with when they started with us, their kid ate 3 foods and now they're eating dinner with their family almost every night because we also coach, like we really do family coaching because we help coach the mom, like how to slowly introduce things to their kiddos too in a way that made it feel safe and not threatening. Okay. You were having lots of cravings yesterday, hormones, you had veggie soup. But then I was craving pizza, so I only had one slice after a veggie soup. Yes, exactly. And so when you start telling yourself, I can't have something or I should feel bad for having this, that's when you're going to get into the cycle of, oh, well, I failed. Let me go have some chocolate now. If you want some mac and cheese, put it on your plate because Megan, probably from years of eating keto, that was always off limits to you. So you don't give yourself permission to have it now. So you feel like you have no self-control when you do. If you were to put a quarter of a cup on your plate with your vegetable protein, maybe another complex carb, you'll be fine. You're not gaining weight from that quarter of a cup of a mac and cheese. But what I do find happen is you have those 2 to 3 bites and now you're nibbling and nitpicking on everything because you feel like you've let yourself down when really it's just extreme restriction. Okay. So same thing with pizza. Like I try to eat my vegetable and my protein first. Then I have like, and it depends on where I'm getting pizza from, but a slice or two. Like if it's at Lit Pizza, yeah, I'll probably have 2 slices. If it's a Domino's, just one. And I'm full and I'm satisfied. So I don't feel the need to keep going back. But those foods are high calorie foods that aren't going to fill you up a lot initially. So starting with a vegetable and protein will really help in those areas. Okay, so here are why busy seasons are actually really perfect. I hear people tell me all the time, let me wait till things slow down. Do things ever slow down? Like really? Do they ever really slow down? They don't. Because we're used to being busy. We fill our times with it, or the universe fills our times, whether our calendar, whether we realize it or not. So busy seasons force you to be efficient. You have no time for perfectionism. You have to rely on systems, not willpower. And even leaning into the school starting is that fresh start energy. So it's kind of like a new year. It's a new year for a lot of us. I have a friend in the organizing business. She says school is like a Louisiana second new year because Mardi Gras is really our new year, right? No one starts anything till after Mardi Gras. Let's be real. But busy seasons are actually perfect. Okay, so I want to recap what we've talked about, then I'll answer some questions. So the real problems, you've been stuck in the diet cycle trap, like for one of these plans, because you've had no exit plan. You've tried to do it all without prioritizing your main goal. You've been overwhelmed by too much information, not a lack of willpower. You haven't had a backup plan, so every bump in life derails your progress. Every bump sends you into the gutter. These are the shifts that change everything. So look at dieting approaches as a prescription, not a permanent lifestyle, because it'll never stick. Okay. Because there have been times I've been doing an approach. I was like, you know what? I need a timeout. I need to live my life. Like I have young kids. I really can't adhere by this approach 24/7 right now. But I can still eat healthy, balanced meals. That will always be at my core. Systems are better than motivation. You need structure, not just little hacks. Busy seasons are the best time to build habits that last because once you get confidence in your default, that will become your new norm. So then you're going to be the mom showing up at the ball field with cheese sticks and fruit. Maybe you have a little, mommy Lunchable, whatever that looks like, and you feel better because most moms that work with me too, they're like, I'm tired of feeling edgy and aggravated and low energy. I want to keep up with my kids. So it's probably because you're not fueled properly either. And here is what actually works: identifying your main goal, not three at once, following a diet and lifestyle plan based on your goals and your season of life. Sometimes they can coexist, sometimes one needs to come before the other. Build your backup plan first so you can stay consistent when life gets hard. Okay, I'm about to get into the questions, but has anyone tell me one if you've taken something from this? Yes or no? Have you at least learned one thing? And if no, that's okay. Like that gives me opportunity to learn, to know like what I need to incorporate more of. Okay, absolutely for sure. Tell me, do y'all feel confident you can implement this on your own, or would you like some more help? Overwhelmed. You're still overwhelmed. Okay. Yes, yes. Backup plan. But my question is, how do I do that without wasting food? Interesting. I'm gonna come to tell me more about that. What do you mean about not wasting food, Amy? Okay. And while you're typing that up, or Amy, if you want to come off mute, you can. Tell me what you mean by how do I do that without wasting food? And I'm going to come back to the gut health question too. But if y'all still want help, I did want to announce a challenge that we're starting very soon. This is our most affordable way to work with us. I don't think I put the price on here. I did not. Sorry, I should have. But it's $47. $47 for 4 weeks with me. It's your busy seasons simple fat loss challenge. I'm going to run through what you get. I'm going to leave this up here. Do not have to talk about this. I'm not here to sell you. This is just if you want more accountability and if you actually want to implement this. You can scan the QR code that does bring you up for challenge registration. It gives you a little bit more details. Quick and dirty overview. You get 4 weeks of daily habits that actually stick. 20-minute workouts that actually work. I didn't put this on here, but you get access to our app that has our food journal in it. You can either do a photo food journal or count macros. Either or can work for you. You have access to do both. Week 1, no cooking required. And I'll say like maybe you're putting meals together, but I want to show you, here are your crock pot meals. Here are your meals in under 15 minutes. You're also going to get my fast food guides, my restaurant guides, my no cook grocery guides, all of these things. So you know how to succeed in any environment. So week 1, we have, for the person who said they like recipes, we have over 500 recipes in our app that you still get access to. But the week 1 is to challenge you to not start with that. I want it simple and easy, and I want to challenge you to do something a little bit different. Week 2, 3, and 4, we're going to build on each of those things. And the point of this is to set you up to go into one of these other approaches. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, if you still don't know your goal or next step, then this is what you need to start with, okay? And you get unlimited support with me. We have weekly training calls and weekly video calls too. Okay, so every week you'll get a live Q&A call from me. You'll get a recorded educational video as well. You need a frozen backup plan for food. I am your frozen girl. You will see like my freezers are full. My pantry is almost empty, like so much stuff in my freezer. But then you'll also get our busy season bundle, holiday survival guide, tailgate party guide, travel snack list. We also have kid-friendly meals and snacks. All of those things come with it. Okay, so there's the challenge. I'm going to leave that up there. I'm answering all of your questions. Text me if you need more help in the future. And then I'm also going to announce the winner in a minute too, after I answer all of the questions. Anyone who joins the challenge today, you get a free onboarding call with me. So we get a one-on-one call to help decide what is that next step for you. What does that look like? If you have questions about the program or anything we've talked about today, drop them down there. There's a QR code. I'm also going to quickly drop the, let me make sure that's going to go. Present. Go back to present. Wait, share. Sorry, y'all. I don't want to present. I just want to present. Okay. Present. I was trying to bring up another link. Okay. I'm going to answer the gut health question, then come back to some of these others. Okay. And I'm going to drop the link in the chat if it'll come up. Okay. So how do you know if you have bad gut health? And so there's a number of ways that you can, and I don't know why my hand is raised. I hate that it does that. There's a number of clues that can clue you into if you have poor gut health. And so it might be like gas, bloating, you're not having good poops every day. There's some testing that you can do. So there is a GI map. I really like that test. I've done it on myself. But there's, like I said, if you have any smelly gas, if you have any abdominal pain, cramping, bloating, if you're not fully eliminating every day, if you have a lot of food intolerances, it can show up in your skin, it can show up in, honestly, brain fog. There's a lot of ways that poor gut health can show up because your gut and your brain communicate. I think for like every signal your brain sends your gut sends your brain 9. And so there's a lot of ways that it can show up. I'll reiterate those really quickly. It can come up in your skin health. It could be brain fog. It could be lack of sleep. It can be bloating, digestion, any of those things. Does that answer your question of the person who asked about gut health? Let me know in the chat. Or you can come off mute. Y'all can come off mute now if you want to just talk too. Yes. Okay. If you had any other questions about that, let me know. Okay. Amy, you said, how do I do that without wasting food? So you said if I prep backup food but end up not needing it, I don't want to waste it. What do you recommend? I think I need a frozen backup plan. So a few things. So sometimes, like if I prep dinner or something, maybe I can use it for lunch or something the next day or a snack. Maybe I freeze it depending on what it is too. Like I'm a big freezer person. You had mentioned that too. So I see the freezer two ways. Sometimes I have food already prepped that I can pull out and defrost. And then other times, oh wait. I just realized my screen doesn't turn. And then other times, I put food in my freezer for later, if that makes sense. So even if I make a big batch of something, so like I don't like to waste a thing. I can't access the QR code because I'm on my cell phone. How else can we sign up for the challenge? I can send y'all a link right after this. I'm also gonna see if I can drop the link in shoot, hang on. Actually, I have the link right here and I can drop it to y'all. Give me 1 second for those asking, and then I'll go back to the other questions. Okay. So if you do, where'd my chat go? Okay. There's the link for the challenge. So if you click on that link, it should pull it up in your Safari and you can access it later. I'll also send out a link later too. Okay, so when it comes to not wanting to waste food with a backup plan, like I said, I'll save it for later, or I'll freeze it for another time, or I'll give it to my husband for lunch the next day, depending on what it is. Is there like a specific scenario you're thinking about, Amy? No way. And like I said, any of y'all can either come off mute, raise your hand, post a question in the chat. Like I am here until every question is answered. I know all y'all are waiting for the winner though, right? Right. Okay. I'll pick the winner real quick. Y'all still have to ask questions. Y'all can't just leave me after I pick the winner. We've had a lot of really good engagement, but I'm going to try to, I'm going to put all of y'all's names in ChatGPT real quick. I'm not even going to lie to y'all and tell them to pick a winner for me. So let me see if I can pull it up real quick. While I'm doing this, I need y'all to post some questions in the chat for me to answer while I log into ChatGPT and make them pick their winner. Okay, let's see. Who's chat gonna pick? I love ChatGPT for stuff like this. You don't like reheating meat. Okay. Oh, thank you, Jenny. Jenny, if you have anything to add, feel free to add it. Jenny and Angie over there at Sync Wellness, they're phenomenal. They help our clients out a lot. Okay, you don't like reheating meat. Okay, so Amy, so the thing there is what I will do. Hang on, let me pick our winner first. Sure. So what I will do typically is I do try to help myself and my clients. I won't. I do like reheated meat. That's not an issue for me. That is an issue for a lot of my clients. So, so when it comes to reheating meat, so one, I try to prep my vegetables and all of my sides ahead. And then that night or whatever, like I try to have just like my meat either cut up or ready to go so I can cook it and heat it. Now, if I'm taking something with me, then I try to do cold meat. So maybe I do a cold chicken pasta salad. Maybe I do a turkey wrap. Maybe I do a cold Greek chicken bowl. Maybe I do a salad with some quinoa on it. If you don't want to reheat something, then I would just plan to make that a cold meal. Does that make sense? And then if you're struggling with during the week, then I would make sure everything else is cooked. That's typically what I do. I only cook one thing a night. Maybe it's my side or my main dish. So I would do one of those approaches. Let me know if that helps. Also, Leah, you are a winner. So ChatGPT picked you. You are a winner. Email me. You should have my email after this, and I'll get you set up with the consult. I'm going to continue answering questions though. Yeah, Amy, work on take cold stuff with you if you don't like reheating meat. And thank y'all, everyone. I'm loving these questions. Okay, so how to determine what your first priority is, Sarah? So one, I would look at, so typically like I have people fill out a form. You'll get that in our metabolic assessment too. And I'm going to look at where's your sleep at, where's your bowel movements. I also have like this quiz that I send our clients where you rate all of the things that you're dealing with. And like on the flip side, like you don't see that side I do, it tells me what our highest priority is. So if it's sleep, if it's gut health, if it's inflammation, from a diet and lifestyle perspective, sometimes doing some testing, like I said, we work a lot with Sync Wellness too. Sometimes doing some testing can help with that too. And sometimes it's understanding what feels the most doable. So as your coach, like it's my job to help you get to your goals, but it's like, okay, out of all these that we could potentially work on, Sarah, what feels like the lowest hanging fruit? What feels like the easiest next step for you? So that's really how we determine what your first priority is we'll have you fill out an assessment. We'll look at all the things you're dealing with and say, okay, I don't think we should do anything else until we talk about sleep. Or I can say, look, here are all the things that need to be worked on, that we need to work on, not to overwhelm you, but what are the first 1 to 2 things you feel like you can commit to doing tomorrow? Okay, when you have an off meal, what's your recommendation to getting back on track? If I have an off meal, I do 2 things. I kind of reflect on like one, why was that an off meal? So was it the social situation? Was it what I had available? I try to learn from that experience. Will never be perfect. It still happens to me. The goal isn't to hound yourself, but one, just reflect and make my very next meal a good choice and healthy. I don't throw away the day. If I overeat at lunch or a dinner out, my very next meal, I try to make it something that I feel very good about. Because you can't undo it. Don't punish yourself for it. Learn from it, make the next meal better. What makes a client most successful working with you? Looking for what you find successful in clients from your point of view, if that makes sense. Absolutely. And I love that answer. So, one of the things like in our intake form too, we ask for clients what your strengths are, not related to health and wellness or anything like that, but just in general. And so that can really help us uncover a lot of how to really pull strengths out of our clients. What makes our clients most successful is consistency and communication is probably number one because our clients are one-on-one clients. They check in with us every week. They have unlimited messaging with us. They have calls as requested with their coach. And so if they have an off day or an off meal, they message us and they're like, look, I know we planned for this to happen, but it didn't happen. Here's what I'm going to do at my next meal or the next day to make that better. They don't wait a whole week to reach out and say, oh, I really didn't do good the entire weekend. Like they will message us over a weekend and say, I had a little slip up. And typically it's like related to a social event or something, or maybe something else happens, whatever. But communication is really what makes our clients most successful is number one. Number two is being open. Because I will say we are kind coaches. We're not here to make you feel bad. But if you're constantly stuck, sometimes you do need someone to be a little direct and saying, look, I know you feel like you have changed some things, but really all of these things likely need to change to be able to move the needle. Or remember, we're not working on fat loss right now. Like we're working on repairing your metabolism. Sometimes it's that trusting your coach and not understanding is like we're holding your hand. I'm not looking for the scale to move right now. I'm looking for you to poop, to sleep better, to have more energy first. So I would say communication and trusting your coach. Like, still, I don't expect you to blindly just trust us. Like, I want you to ask questions, but and also being open if that helps. There's no perfect situation. I've had a client with 7 kids be successful. I've had a client with no kids I've had clients with no kids not be successful, and it just has to depend on like the communication, the do you want it? And I think quality of coach matters too. And that's also why I love having 5 of us is sometimes like we switch clients up with different coaches depending on their personality type or their approach at that time. Like our coach Sarah, one of our dietitians, really loves working with people on like gut health and just overall health and well-being. But our coach Dustin really loves body composition. So sometimes people might start off with Sarah and then go to Dustin to really hone into like if they want to really get toned, get fit, all of those things. What questions can you ask ourselves to determine your main goal or purpose? I get stuck wanting to do it all, having a hard time where to start. That's a great question. And so we typically bring our clients through like some worksheets. And so I would ask yourself in 1 year from now, 1 year from now, what does success look like for me? Not just in terms of your goals, but in terms of what you're doing. What does your life look like that feels sustainable? So you're doing this and you can maintain it. And I would write it all down. Write it all down. And then, because you have to take to, like, you have to know where you're going. And with our clients, we also establish like their wellness vision. When we go back to that almost every week, almost every check-in is everything we're doing going back to this. So, for example, one of my clients, her goal was to live a long, healthy life where she is present for her grandchildren. She can move very easily. She can get up and off. She can get off the ground very easily without really any issues. Okay. And so ask yourself that. And then ask yourself why a few times. So I don't know if y'all ever heard this in grade school, but we use this in coaching too. So why is this goal important to me? Okay, I want to lose fat because I want to feel better. Why do I want to feel better? Well, I want more energy for my kids. Why do I want more energy for my kids? Well, I want to be a really good mom and I want them to have memories of me being present with them. That, that y'all hits so much deeper than I want to lose weight. Do you see the difference there? So connecting into your why, understanding the vision of where you want to be in a year and writing all of it down. And we typically have buckets. We'll say nutrition, movement, sleep, stress, and mindset are all in one bucket too. And then we'll kind of write that down. What are all the changes we want to see? And then we'll pick 1 or 2 to start with. And typically as we coach, we'll guide you. Maybe we start off with one tactical thing, and then we start off with one like mindset thing too. Let me know if that answers your question, Lee. And yes, I'm so excited you won too. Okay, you don't want to spend all Sunday meal prepping, but work days after work are crazy between pickup and kid bedtime is crazy. Was it Leah or Maria? Oh, I'm sorry, it was Leah that was the winner. But Maria, you've been participating. I'm so grateful for all of you. Y'all all get the metabolic assessment. I will send that out in an email. Fill it out, and I'll send you a live video back explaining your metabolic assessment. But Leah, you'll get a full consult with me. Okay, will this 4 weeks be tailored to me specifically? So if I wanted a friend to join, would she need her own plan? Okay, I'm gonna come back to you real quick, Sarah. Viv. So this is a group challenge. Everyone's working on the same things. We do have one-on-one coaching that is specifically tailored to you. This group challenge, yes, have a friend join you. That would be great to have that additional accountability and such too. Oh, Andre, thank you so much. Your biggest thing is a calendar delay reminder of some things I learned with her originally. And Andre, you can totally join the challenge with us too. We love having past clients join us. Sarah, I am with you. I have 2 kids. I used to 2 toddler-ish, I would say they're 2 and 4. I used to spend all day in the kitchen on Sunday. I don't anymore. I got burned out. I'm not gonna lie. So here's typically what I do is I don't like prepping. This is literally what I do. We typically have like chicken or pork, like some type of poultry, beef, and some type of seafood. every week. So I'll get my husband to like, I'll normally just ground the meat really quickly. I'll have him grill the chicken and or fish, or I'll bake the fish. Fish I'll normally do in the middle of the week. I don't love I don't mind reheated meat. I don't love reheated seafood. I typically cook it that night, but here's the thing, seafood cooks very quickly, whether it's shrimp, fish, whatever. And then I do a sheet pan of vegetables and like potatoes or something, so my carb, and or I'll do like rice or quinoa that's in a microwavable packet. That doesn't take me any time because I just chop up the vegetables, I cover it, like I spray them with oil this season, I put them in the oven, let it roast. My husband's grills. And then here's what I do, Sarah. Sorry, I'm drinking my LaCroix. This was a really bad choice for a call because I'm burping throughout. But here's what I do. I put it all in the fridge in the same containers and we mix and match throughout the week. So maybe I'll do like I've done for my kids, like mac and cheese with broccoli in it with the ground meat, and that's their meal and maybe a side of fruit. I'll just have a little bit less of the pasta, but I do lean ground meat. Another night we can do the ground meat and make quesadillas in a healthy way or tacos. Or I'll pull out the chicken, the potatoes, and maybe broccoli, and I do a honey mustard sauce. Maybe I do that same thing, but the next night I do cheese and buffalo. And so every month with my clients, I come out with a bulk meal prep like that, to where you're not individually portioning out each thing unless you need to, but it's just you're cooking a few things. And then in between, maybe some nights, yes, I pick up Greek. Maybe some nights, yes, I just pull something frozen out of the freezer. And I always have fruit on hand for my carb. That keeps it really easy. It's always accessible. Let me know if that helps, Leah. Okay, yes, I know a lot of y'all need to run. Y'all have asked amazing questions. I cannot thank you enough for joining me today. This has been an incredible session. Y'all have my number, y'all have the code, y'all have the reminder text. That's not me personally. My number is on here. So if you need my number, I'm gonna put it on here real quick before I jump off. You can text me, email me, I will respond, Instagram me. It's all me. I don't have anybody doing that side of it for me. But I hope this was helpful. Thank y'all for taking the time. If your kids started school today, I hope they had an awesome day. If they start school tomorrow, I hope it was awesome too. And I'm so glad it has been helpful. Don't forget your promise to me. You promised me when you started that you would take one thing from today and implement it. By the end of the day, if not tomorrow, because I have my kids at home, my mom's watching them because daycare is closed today. I will send you all that metabolic assessment. That is my promise to you and Leah. I will reach out with next steps to set up your consult call. But thank y'all. Have a good rest of your day, and I can't wait to see y'all succeed. Bye, y'all.